tradesmen built America. Not policymakers or desk jockeys, but hardworking, blue-collared men and women. Join me, Roger Wakefield, on conversations with some of the nation's most successful skilled laborers. This is the Trade Talks. Welcome back to another episode of the Trade Talks, live recorded right here at PHCC Connect 2024 in Birmingham, Alabama. Now, I've been to the iTech Training Center. Y'all got crazy people up here. It gets cold up around there. I'm going to throw that out just from
That's
the
why
get-go.
we make boilers.
Yeah, boy, y'all keep it hot inside the plant too. I love that. Yeah. It was really neat to get to go up there because the training facility, I mean, y'all got like a theater to train plumbers in. Now, I didn't get invited to one of the normal trainings, so I got a special invitation, and me and one of my plumbers went up there, and actually, yeah, like 3 of us went through a training program. iTech is phenomenal.
Thank you.
It's literally, it's hands-on. It's where I got the idea for my cut open water heaters, which, you know, one of your employees may or may not have sent me 2 of them, but it's a great training device.
It is. Did you get back in the mechanical room?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The multicolored mechanical room behind the glass wall and all that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got the VIP tour. I mean, I got treated very well.
When was that?
Oh, gosh. That was probably 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, so we built that obviously to train, but also to showcase not just our products, but what you can do with water heaters and boilers as a systems approach. So the mechanical room, while it's functional, also spurs a lot of ideas on how you can use products and how you can take a systems approach. It's been really successful. We're really proud of it.
It was a neat thing to see. Number one, the mechanical room is beautiful. I mean, the insulation work, the paint on it, you walk in and everything makes sense. It's the way it should be. But it was really neat.
It was very inexpensive too.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy that. I don't think anything at that plant was inexpensive. It was all top of the line. And this was back in, every manufacturer has problems every now and then with a product. And back then, there may have been problems with the gas control valve. I was so impressed by your team and what they were doing. They were literally receiving crates of gas control valves, and they had about 10 people that were opening every one, taking them apart and looking inside, because they said, we can see the problem now that we know what it is. And they are inspecting every single gas control valve. And I said, so do y'all test like 1 crate out of 100? What do y'all do? They said, no, we look at every single one of them now.
Yeah, well, I mean, ideally, we don't want to have to do 100% inspection.
And I doubt you're having to do that anymore.
No, we don't. But when it comes down to something that's a safety issue, damn right, we're going to make sure that we're putting out a safe product.
A lot of companies are just, well, you know what? We'll quit using this and we're going to go to a different one.
Thank you.
Y'all are like, look, we love this product. It's the best product. We want to make sure it functions right.
Thank you.
I got to see the testing facility, which gave me part of the idea for my testing facility. I now have a blast chamber. Y'all got like a blast room. And one of the neatest things I saw, and then I'll tell everybody who we're talking to, one of the neatest things that I saw was y'all will actually pay to have a faulty water heater, and you don't do it with every one of them, I understand it. But if I install a water heater and there's a problem with it, and I explain it to y'all, and you're like, Roger, look, that's out of the norm. We want that water heater back. We want you to, not me out of my pocket, but we want that water heater shut back. Please drain it, do whatever. Don't just cut it loose. Don't take anything apart. Leave it the way it is. Ship it back. We want to see what happened. And I got to see that happening. I'm cutting the skin off one and going in and looking at one.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't want to inconvenience you. I think one of the things about us is we want to be user-friendly, but we also are obsessive about quality, and we want to make sure we understand if there's something going on in the field that it could potentially be a problem. We want to get it back so that we understand that thoroughly and we can make any changes that we have to make. So again, it's not to inconvenience you, but it is a huge part of our whole quality control system is to get back products and understand what's going on in the field.
And quality control, the team that you have put together, if I'm a plumber out in an attic or in a mechanical room and I've got a problem and I call, is Dusty Bowman still around?
Dustin Bowerman
Dustin
is
Bowerman, there we
absolutely the best in the industry.
Y'all still keep him? How's he keep a job? I mean,
he is 27 years now. And I know that because he's been there 1 year less than me. Actually, he's probably closer to 28 because I'm closer to 29. Absolutely the best in the industry. And we just showed a video at the breakfast, and Dustin was featured in there. And if you listen to what he said, the whole video was about our focus on our customers, and in particular, our contractor customers. But he said, what is rewarding for me is helping someone fix a problem and being able to pay it forward. And that's the approach that he takes, and he is absolutely the best. But he's one person, so Dustin has built an absolutely phenomenal team around him.
yes.
So, yeah, thank you. I will pass that on to him
No,
because he's
phenomenal.
absolutely the best.
And it said, I can't remember his name, but that tells you how often I have to call
Yeah,
for
but
tech
you got
support or
you
anything.
got mostly right.
Yeah, a DB guy,
Yeah.
something like that. That anytime you call, he's out.
Yeah,
fishing or
I'm from
hunting or-
Philadelphia, Roger. That has a whole other connotation.
Okay. So, and let's talk about his team, because it was neat when I was there. You're not just hiring a $7.50 an hour technician to learn how to read through the manual and answer questions. You've got plumbers and HVAC techs and people that understand what we're dealing with in the field each and every day.
Yeah, we want people who have walked in your shoes and can relate to you and understand what you're going through in the field. So yeah, we hire people who have experience in the field and understand what you guys are going through. And they're hard to find.
You don't have anybody from Texas up there?
We don't. It's apparently a language barrier.
No, it's a temperature barrier. We understand it's freaking warm down where we live.
We'd have to relocate you guys near the big furnace. So it was warm.
What? If you put the tech center in the mechanical room,
there we go.
I mean,
now
there's
we're
a
talking.
way around everything. There's a way around everything. So tell everybody, take just a second, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
I am Bruce Carnevale. I am the president and CEO of Bradford White Corporation. I've been at Bradford White coming up on 29 years.
A year longer than Dustin.
A year longer than Dustin. I actually go back to 1984. I started with Bradford White as a co-op student when I was at Drexel University. And I worked on the first power vent water heater. Not the first one that Bradford White made, the first one that the industry ever saw.
Wow.
So we invented that product category. And my job was to design the vent hood for that product because we had to pass a 27-mile-an-hour wind test. It still had a standing pilot back then before electronic ignition. I mean, I'm going back into the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
That's how old I am, Roger.
That's when I started plumbing, 1980. So,
there you go. So you can relate.
I resemble that remark.
Yeah. So that's when I first was exposed to Bradford White. My dad worked at Bradford White for close to 60 years. So when I graduated, I went on, found my own job, worked for a big chemical company, and my father was trying to recruit me. And I said, look, I don't really want to be the boss's son. I'm doing fine on my own. And he kept pushing, and I kept saying no. And finally he said, so you got another promotion at Nalco, huh? When are you going to move to Chicago? Because that's where they were headquartered. I said, well, probably next promotion. He goes, so you're going to move to Chicago? I said, well, I'm going to have to. And this is really, honestly, why I'm at Bradford White is Italian guilt. Without skipping a beat, he looks at me and says, you're going to move to Chicago. You're going to break your mother's heart, and you're going to put your grandmother in an early grave. That's why I'm here. So I started full-time in 1996 as international product manager. So I traveled all around the world, creating markets for water heaters, doing work to get specific requirements for different markets, for certification, the specific needs of the market. 2000, I came over onto the domestic side as a regional manager and then worked my way up from there. So that's kind of my brief history at Bradford White.
This video is sponsored by High Level. For your 30-day free trial, go to gohighlevel.com/Roger Wakefield. Now, I love it because I got to tour the plant. I mean, I got to tour everything. It was really, really neat. I didn't get the video in every area. Y'all have some areas where you have this thing called proprietary information.
We do.
I don't
Trade
understand
secrets.
that. It's like I'm literally putting the phone in my pocket and trying to hit record, and 3 security guards came and grabbed me around the throat. I'm like, okay,
They
I'll
were
quit.
big, weren't they?
I know they were real big.
Yeah.
It was so neat to watch, though, how it's done. And to me, those are some of my favorite videos to go shoot. When you can walk in someplace, we're plumbers, and we think we're very educated people, but really the education level is not that high. But when I can go in to some place like I've got to go to Bradford White, I've got to go to Charlotte Pipe and show them, look, this is how pipe is made. But when you show people how this little piece of plate sheet metal laying here on the floor becomes a water heater, and how you've got machines that spin it around and put the label in the exact precise spot every single time, every little detail is thought about.
Yeah. And the plant has even expanded significantly more.
Oh, well, y'all should bring me back. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
People need to know what's really going on.
Yeah. So we're, the plant's about twice as big as it was back before NACA 3. And then we'll see some further expansion to support NACA 4. So a lot of it's driven by regulatory, but we are a customer-driven company. That's what we live for, is what can we do to support you and your business? What can we do to help you make successful? What can we do to help your customers with the solutions that they need? So that's really what drives us. But, it's certainly not a secret that a lot of what we have to do as an industry is based upon the regulatory environment.
And regulations are changing.
Regulations are changing. Talked about this at breakfast the other morning.
I was there.
The first big one is commercial. So that's 2026, October of 2026. And, the significant impact is that atmospherically vented commercial gas water heaters go away. That means
almost
we have
completely.
to go.
It's coming.
It'll be pretty much completely. And so, situations where you're venting through a natural draft chimney system, what are you going to do? And this is going to be a real challenge for contractors. You're going to put in a condensing product. You got to figure out how you're going to vent it. Okay. In a lot of cases, it's easy.
Vent it and drain it.
You pop it through, and you got condensate.
You bet.
Exactly. So, this is going to be a significant change. We fought really hard against this for that specific reason. We tried to get the Department of Energy to kind of break along new construction versus replacement. So new construction goes condensing, so you can build the infrastructure to support it, put the venting system in place, put the condensate management, but leave replacement so that you could still put in a standard efficiency chimney vent system. They did not want to do that. They said they can't handle that. They can't enforce it. So they moved away from that and consolidated finally around 100% condensing. So big change, big challenge. We're ready. From a manufacturing standpoint, we currently have products. We'll continue to design and develop new products, come up with unique solutions. From a manufacturing standpoint, there's a significant investment to be able to do the scale that we need to do, but the product is there. We know how to do the product. But, my concern is getting the word out to the contractors so that you guys understand what the challenges are going to be, so that you don't, wake up in October of 2026 and say, holy crap, I didn't realize I couldn't get that product. How am I going to install a condensing one?
I can't buy a water heater now that doesn't have a drain on it.
Exactly.
What do I do?
Yeah.
And by drain, I mean a condensation drain. I'm not talking the boiler drain.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a problem. I mean, in Texas, we either put houses in a closet in the middle of the house. There's no drain there except for the TMP, but that's a whole different story.
Or you put water heaters in the attics where it's really cool.
Oh, yeah. It gets ice cold.
Yeah.
Whoever designed, look, I live in Texas, and sometimes when we talk about water heaters, I hate to say that.
So for years, my father used to say, it's not a hot water heater. It's a
Exactly.
water heater. If the water were hot, you wouldn't need,
You wouldn't need to heat it.
And I said, well, what about Texas attics? It's a hot water heater because it's already hot.
Well, it's hot in the attic.
He didn't
that's
think
for
it was
sure.
funny either.
That's for sure. So,
Hey, Mark.
That's what plumbers were dealing with. 2015, water heaters got 2 inches fatter.
Correct.
And a lot of plumbers didn't realize that, and they went in like, oh, we're pulling out a 50. Let's put in a 50.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, it doesn't fit.
Yeah. So what do we do about that? I mean, our friends from the press are here. They do a good job of highlighting these things. PHCC does a great job of getting the word across. But how do we get it across to the plumbing community in general that there's some major changes
That's
coming?
what we're doing right here. I know. I love this because, I mean, seriously. And you were asked a great question yesterday, and no, there was no press in the room. And this is just between me and you. I'm not going to tell anybody.
How many people in your audience?
I don't even know what audience you're talking about.
Okay.
Nobody can hear us. It's just me and you.
Perfect.
How much money is this really saving? Let's say the homeowner. Let's put this on the homeowner. Because you said something yesterday. Hey, guys, y'all understand the price is going to get passed to you. No. It's getting passed to the homeowner.
Yes.
Okay? And the homeowner needs to be aware of this because, look, Department of Energy is trying to do some great things. I love it. But if you're spending an extra $500 on a unit to save $50 a year, if it'll save $50 a year, y'all can probably tell me more about that than I can. I'm just a dumb plumber doing math here. If you can spend an extra $1,000 on a unit, save $50 a year on a product that's going to last 8 years, the ROI doesn't add up to me. Have y'all done any monetary calculations like that?
We have, and we've had those debates with the DOE on their calculations and some of the assumptions that they've put in there. We had, specifically for the commercial rulemaking, we actually supplied the DOE with some actual contractor estimates of what it would cost to do the venting changeover.
It's not just the vent.
Because
the drain is going to be the big problem.
No, I know, but as an
places.
example, we brought that to DOE and said, here is the realistic cost, not the cost that you're using. However you derive that, we don't agree with that. So I guess, at a high level, we don't necessarily disagree with the fact that it's going to save energy. It certainly will save energy. We do have some disagreements with the assumptions that were used in the calculations and how much energy it's going to save and what the payback is. And then it's going to be very specifically dependent on the application. So put a heat pump water heater in a garage in Florida where you have a lot of waste heat. You get a little bit of additional cooling. Great application. Put a heat pump water heater in, the northern tier of the U.S. or up into Canada in a cold climate.
Much.
It doesn't work as well. It'll still work. It'll still save energy, but you can't say that the savings is going to be the same across all regions in the U.S. So it's very dependent upon the installation, application, the region that it's in. But at a high level, I don't necessarily agree that the savings are going to materialize the way they've been presented.
Okay, so the big change next year is commercial. That's the first one coming.
Well, commercial's 2026.
Okay.
So October 2026 is the commercial change. And it's a manufacturing cutoff date. So the way the DOE works is when they make a commercial ruling, as soon as they publish it in the Federal Register, manufacturers have 3 years from that publication date to comply. Compliance is based upon the manufacturing date. So we can't manufacture the non-condensing product after October of 2026. For you guys, if the wholesaler has some inventory that's the non-condensing, they can still sell it.
If they have a whole lot of extra inventory.
They may. There's going to be
I've heard of this happening.
There's going to be quite a bit of demand. We see this not only with water heaters, but all products that go through regulatory changes that significantly either drive the cost or drive the complexity. You will see a buy-in. Okay, so we expect that. But you can continue to install the product. But what I would say, and we saw this in flammable vapors back in 2003, we saw it in NACA 3 back in 2015. regardless of what the federal government says, there are some state and local code officials that say, well, we don't really care what they say. It's a manufacturing date. We're not going to let you install it.
We're going to implement now.
We have to be, we have to be cautioning our contractor customers that don't buy, an endless supply, because there may be local codes. So that caveat is always there. But from the DOE's perspective, it is absolutely based upon a manufacturing cutoff date. So the first one is October of 26 for commercial water heaters. And that means anything over 75,000 BTU input on the gas side.
Okay. After that, they're gonna start looking at residential. It's coming. They're already looking at it.
Well, residential is done. So May 6th of 2029 is when the residential efficiency standard will take effect from a manufacturing standpoint. That's known now as NACA 4. So NACA is the National Appliance Energy Conservation Act. That's the underlying law. NACA 3 was 2015. That's what split at 55 gallons and has to be a heat pump over that. Increased the efficiency requirement for resistance electric. That's why they got wider.
You bet.
More insulation. Increased the efficiency requirement for gas. They got wider. That was NACA 3. This is now NACA 4, the fourth version of it. And the substantive changes will be essentially anything over 35 gallons will now have to be heat pump technology. But there are limitations. It's not a straight 35 gallons. So there's also a first hour rating requirement. You can't be over 51 gallon first hour rating. Otherwise, it has to go to heat pump. You have to hold the temperature at 135. And there is a new metric that the Department of Energy came up with called effective volume. So a gallon is not a gallon is not a gallon anymore. A gallon, an effective capacity gallon, is based upon the temperature that you hold the water at. So the purpose of that is the Department of Energy wants to discourage taking a 35-gallon water heater, putting a high-temperature thermostat, mixing valve, and making it act like a 50-gallon. They want to move the market to heat pumps. That's their desire. That's their goal. So they've done quite a few things to make sure that happens. So I think they've been very thoughtful about it and have kind of put some things in place to prevent some of the things that happened with NACA 3. So that's 2029. It also affects gas products. So gas product will have to get more efficient, but not to a condensing efficiency level. We believe that the standing pilot system will go away. It looks like all of our early testing that we're not going to be able to continue to make the product we make now that will meet the new requirement for UEF. So think about what a gas heater is going to look like after 2029 for residential. We'll likely have a damper system, or it'll have a blower or a fan assist. It doesn't have to be condensing. And we took that as a victory. DOE and a lot of the environmental advocates, honestly, were looking to move to a full condensing standard for residential gas too. We fought back against that, and I think we were successful in coming up with a reasonable efficiency increase for gas.
This video is sponsored by High Level. We've partnered up with High Level because we believe this is the best all-in-one sales and marketing platform to help you grow your business. For your 30-day free trial, go to gohighlevel.com/Roger Wakefield. So now the plumber goes out to change out a water heater. He needs an electrician. If it's a gas water heater, you've got to run a fan for your power vent.
Yes.
The venting system is going to completely change. Go to probably a plastic vent.
Well, again, for residential, it can still be non-condensing, so you can still chimney vent it, but it will likely have a fan assist or a damper system in addition to it. So likely you'll be able to use the existing venting system, but a lot of that remains to be seen how that all works out. You will likely need electricity at the water heater where you don't need it now.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things
Absolutely.
I saw from listening to you talk yesterday.
Absolutely. And not just the inconvenience for you guys, because now you got to bring in another trade and an electrician, but think of the cost to the consumer. You got to bring in an electrician. You've just increased the cost of a water heater
absolutely.
significantly.
And if we bring in an electrician, we got to clean up their mess too, because electricians do not clean up anything. I mean, I don't know if any of y'all are electricians watching. Something you could learn from the plumbers.
Plumbers are definitely the neatest trade out there.
I tell you what, every time I hear that, and I do believe that, when we threw our big rally down
Do
in
you wear booties?
Austin, no, I wear floor savers. Booties would be to protect my boots. Floor savers are to protect your floor.
Words matter.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Yeah.
And people tell me that when I walk in the house. You don't have to wear those. Oh, yes, I do. You have no idea where my boots have been, and I would hate to get that on your floors. And then they're like, okay, can I help you put them on? No, I'm good. I got this. But when the plumbers threw a rally in Texas, we had 7,500 plumbers on the steps of the Capitol fighting for our license. And at the end of the day, those of us that spoke and stuff hung around to shake hands, take pictures, do whatever. And literally the housekeeping people came up at the end of the day with a bag of trash. And they said, we got to tell y'all are the cleanest group that's ever been here. This is the entire trash that we had on the entire property. They said normally it would take 10 of us a full day to clean all this up.
Wow. That
So,
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, look, plumbers are amazing, especially the Texas plumbers. I'm just going to throw that out there. But we take pride in what we do. And I think that's a big deal. And I'm giving you electricians a hard time. So,
By the way, we take pride in what you do, which is why we only sell through professional distribution, and we want you guys to install our product.
yeah, I've had people ask me about that. Why can't I find their product in the big box store? Because it's for professionals to sell.
Correct.
It's a professional product. And I think that's a big deal. So I
you.
do appreciate that.
Thank you. You guys can clap if you want.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I should draw a round of applause. It's like, come on.
It's a massive audience.
I know, this isn't bad. Isn't bad. And wait till you see it, up at 100,000 views or something. Not that I would tell anybody about this or anything. So this is just between you and I. What's next for Bradford White?
Well, if you've seen, we've made quite a few acquisitions lately. And again, we are a customer-focused company. So our acquisitions are based upon what our customers are asking to support them on. It's based upon what we see happening in the trends and the regulatory environment. So clearly, there is a move towards electrification. So you'll see that we've acquired Keltec, for example, which is a commercial commercial tankless electric product. We've acquired Electro Industries, which is an electric boiler company. We've also recently acquired FlowLogic, which is a very, very cool technology. It's a leak detection and shutoff system that has a very robust IoT platform. So great technology, premium product. We will be looking to bring that through our professional trade channel. We've got some work to do there to expand the product line. We've recently bought a company that does stainless steel tanks with stainless steel indirects. Really nice little company, Heat Flow. We see that as a category that's going to expand. That's probably a contrarian position, quite honestly, but we see as there's a move towards electrification, towards heat pumps. Electric water heaters are going to get more expensive. So in systems where you have a boiler, we think that it's going to make sense to put in an indirect instead of, in a lot of cases, there's an electric water heater put next to the boiler to supply the domestic hot water. So we'll continue to make acquisitions that make sense for our customers. Again, we want to try to do what we can to do to make you guys successful. So as we observe these trends in the industry, as we see things going a particular direction with the regulatory environment, we'll continue to make these strategic acquisitions to give you guys good products and good solutions. We'll continue to innovate organically. We have a very robust product development process and a very robust product development team. So we'll continue to innovate, come out with new products. I think we've been recognized as somewhat of an innovative company. I'd like to take that to the next level, quite honestly. So we've made a lot of investments to put us on the forefront of innovation. So that's kind of what we see is it's really a focus on our customers and what products and solutions can we bring to you. But we also want to kind of stay in our lane. So you're not going to see us get into extraneous things that don't make a lot of sense for us. We're going to continue to be good at what we're good at, which is water heating, boilers, storage tanks, and maybe a couple ancillary products that really help our customers in their businesses like FlowLogic.
No, I think that's great. That's really good. Again, I said I've been to iTech, loved it. how do plumbers out there, because it took me a while to even find out about iTech, then find out how to get in the door at iTech. How do plumbers, who do they need to talk to, their local distributors or their local representatives, whatever, in order to go see that? Because the training y'all do is phenomenal. And to be able to get in there and see the different water heaters, see the mechanical room, see everything y'all got set up and the way you've got it set up, but to also see all these water heaters cut open where you're looking on the inside of it. I told people after I walked in at it, I said, look, I'd been in plumbing for 40 years, almost 35 years before I'd ever seen the inside of a water heater like that. And I thought, man, this is just really, really neat. And every time I put it in videos, people are like, man, how'd you do that? Or how'd you do this? How'd you do? Like, man, I got friends in very high places. So it was
Yeah, so it
easy.
starts with your representative, your local representative. Talk to them. Say, hey, I want to go to Bradford White and do training. And if you don't get anywhere with that, then you go to your Bradford White regional manager, and they'll make it happen. So start with the rep, and then get to know your regional manager too. They're the best resource that we have locally supporting their regions. I will say that the regional manager team at Bradford White is absolutely the best in the industry, and I think the team that we have now is the best regional manager core that we've ever had, including when I was a regional manager. These guys run circles around what we did way back when. So
I love that.
Leverage them. They're a great resource.
Fantastic. Tell everybody again who you are and what you do.
Bruce Carnevale, Bradford White Corporation. I'm the president and CEO.
So you're the one call anytime there's a problem anywhere.
I am that guy.
Well, thank you for being here. Welcome to PHCC Connect 2024, special edition of the Trade Talks podcast. I really do appreciate you being here. I have been blessed to be able to work with Bradford White for probably the last 6 or 8 years directly, installing the product before then. So it's been fantastic. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and thank you for being here, and thank you for everything.
Thank you, Roger.
Bradford White does for the plumbing industry.
And thank you for everything you do for the industry and helping us spread the word.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.